Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I want to get through this video pretty quickly because baby girl is sleeping and I don't want her to wake up. I've been meaning to do this video for a really long time now, and it is my labor and delivery story. I'm gonna try to explain everything as quick as possible. A lot happened the few days that I was there at the hospital. I do a lot of mommy videos, especially now with a newborn. I'll be posting a lot more of those videos, but let's go ahead and get started. So the day of the 29th, you guys know that I had been having blood pressure issues and all that stuff like a couple days before, and weeks and swollen feet and all that stuff. So a week before I actually went into the hospital, I had gone to my doctor's appointment, and my doctor, he checked everything and he told me that he was going to induce me at 39 weeks. I turned 39 weeks exactly on a Tuesday, which was the 29th of January. And so I had already had in my mind that I was gonna go into the hospital to get induced, and all of that. So I contacted my doctor, I contacted the hospital, and they said that they did not have me on the schedule to be induced, which was a bummer. But the doctor wanted me to go in so that they can do like a stress test on the baby, monitor everything, make sure that my blood pressure wasn't going up. So while I was there, I was so anxious. I was crying so much, like I couldn't hold my tears back because I really wanted to have this baby already. Like I was that exhausted. And the doctor spoke to the high risk pregnancy, like high risk doctor, and the high risk doctor basically told him like, leave her for a 24-hour urine count at the hospital, and then if her blood pressure goes up, like every 5 minutes, like every so often, it was like every 5 hours, have her walk for 5 minutes, then come back, sit down, rest for 2 minutes, and then take her blood pressure. If it's high, then we'll keep her and induce her. So we went ahead and did that. And on the second walk that I did, my blood pressure, the diastolic number at the bottom was definitely high. So I told the nurse, I'm like, okay, so that's high, so what's gonna happen? So she went and spoke to my doctor, and she came back and she's like, well, good news. And I was like, what good news? She's like, we're gonna go ahead and induce you. And I literally started crying, like happy tears. After that, they started my IV, and I never knew that they would put in a cervidil. That's what it's called. It's more like it's like a string, and it's like this long, but it goes right in back of the baby's head, in your cervix. So it's really, really, really painful. The first time, the nurse was the one that put it on, and I felt like I was giving birth already. Like it was that painful. It felt, if you've never gotten a cervidil before, or if you have, the way that it felt like to me, it felt like they were inserting that thing into my pee hole. Like that's how painful it was. And she said, no, I didn't insert it there, I inserted it in the other one, in the other hole. And I was like, what? That did not feel like that. So that was definitely painful. They put 3 of those in. They took it off. They would take it off every 12 hours. Those brought some pretty bad contractions, that were pretty close apart. And then once that was done, that the doctor took off the third one, I was already 6 centimeters dilated. So once he took that one off, the doctor basically said, you can now start to dilate 1 centimeter per hour, or you could really just like get to like 10 centimeters and like nothing. So the baby's blood pressure started going down, and the nurses, of course, they monitor that in a room that they're sitting at or whatever. They monitor all that stuff. So she ended up coming in and she was like, hurry, you need to turn around. And she's like, something's going on here. So she ended up putting the oxygen mask so that the baby can get oxygen and I can get oxygen and all that, which I was fine. I was trying to stay calm. I wasn't hyperventilating or anything. But then oh god. But then she was like, let me check you. So she checked she checked me, and I was already at 9 centimeters, and from 6 centimeters in 15 minutes I went to 9 centimeters. Like, that's how fast it happened. So everyone literally started coming into the room. I don't know what button that lady pressed, but just everyone, like a whole bunch of nurses started coming into the room, and I started freaking out. They started bringing in like tables of stuff and a whole bunch of stuff that I had never seen before. And they started turning on the lights and all this stuff, and I was like, what the heck is going on? So I was trying to stay calm. I was very peaceful because I did not want anything to happen to the baby. And Ernest and my mom were looking at me, and they would ask me like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong with you? You look like you're in another world. And I couldn't answer them because I was just trying to stay calm. And then my doctor came in, and we started pushing. We pushed literally for about an hour, and nothing happened. They took, mind you, I was already on an epidural, and I was on Pitocin. And my doctor was like, we're gonna go ahead and take you off Pitocin so that you can contract naturally. I was not contracting at all. Once they took me off Pitocin, I was not contracting at all. And which it wasn't happening naturally. So I never got to 10 centimeters. And then my nurses came in, and they're like, maybe like an hour later, my nurses came in, and they were like, do you want to go ahead and push a little bit more to see if we can get the baby down? I was like, sure, that's fine. So we went ahead and pushed literally for 2 hours. I pushed for 2 hours with my nurses, and it was so painful, so painful. I had to, I felt my contractions come. Even though I had an epidural, I felt everything. I felt everything. Like, at one point, the anesthesiologist had to come in, and I was begging him. Like, I was looking at him, and I was begging him to give me more. And there was a button that I can press to give me more epidural, like maybe like a little bit more. I could do it every 20 minutes. That did not help at all. Like, that was just a piece of crap. It did not help at all. So the anesthesiologist came in, and when he did that, when he put a little bit more, it felt great. It started working automatically, but then it went away. It went away again, and I was like, oh my goodness, these contractions are so bad, and the pressure was horrible. So then after that, that's whenever, maybe whenever I was pushing for like 2 hours already, I kept looking at Ernest. I kept looking at my mom, and my mom was like crying, and I kept looking. My mom was on my left side, and Ernest was on my right side, and my mom was crying. Ernest looked like he was dead, like he did not want anything to do with it anymore. Although he was very supportive, he kept telling me to push, and you know, that I got this, and you know, trying to calm me down and all this stuff, because my contractions, I was feeling them all. And I literally, like, out loud, I just kept praying to God, like, please bring Sophia, like, please bring Sophia. I'm tired, I'm in so much pain. And I guess that made my mom like very sentimental, and she started crying. But it got to the point where my contractions were so bad, and we kept asking the nurses, like, is the baby down? Like, is the baby closer? Like, what's going on? And they would be like, yeah, the baby's close. She's getting closer, but it wasn't like a firm answer. And I was pushing for so long already, and I was exhausted. And I told Ernest, I'm like, I can't do this. I want a C-section. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been pushing for way too long. My body just can't no more. And if they keep telling me that the baby's not down, I just feel like I'm not gonna get to 10 centimeters. She's not gonna drop. And my doctor had already told me, he told me, he's like, if you want a C-section, just let me know, and in 45 minutes we're out. So I was like, I started to consider that, and a lot went through my mind. I was like, oh my God, the recovery of a C-section, the scar, like all this that I did not plan for is now what I'm gonna have to go through with. So I told my nurses were like freaking out. They were like, I want you to know that a C-section is a very, very serious abdominal surgery. And it's like they didn't want me to have it, but I was just in so much pain. So I told them, I was like, you need to call my doctor right now. I can't do this anymore. You need to call my doctor. And Ernest kept like trying to be supportive, and he was like, come on babe, you got this, push for a little bit more, push for a little bit more. I got so mad. I told everybody off. I was like, I want a C-section. You all do not understand in how much pain I am. I've been pushing for so long, and I have no hope right now that this baby is gonna come anytime soon. So everyone just looked at me like, damn, this girl really wants a C-section. Like, she's in a lot of pain. Imagine, I mean, I had 3 cervidils inserted inside in me already, and I had been going through contractions way before I even started like the labor, because once you get to 6 centimeters, that's when you're in active labor. So before 6 centimeters, I was already having contractions that were painful. And so my doctor comes in and he starts getting dressed, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, I want a C-section now. Why is he getting dressed in here? And he started getting dressed. He got in front of me, got all the equipment ready, and he wanted me to push again. I was like, oh goodness, like gracious, this is some joke. So we pushed literally for 20 minutes, and Sophia's heart rate was at 140 pretty much the whole entire time. It was at 140, and there was one push that it literally dropped to like the low 60s, and he started freaking out, and he literally inserted his hand and he pushed Sophia's head right back up, and the heart rate went right back up to 140s again. So he's like, yeah, this is definitely a C-section, get everything ready. This has to be something with her umbilical cord. And like, we all looked at each other and we're like, okay, let's just get this over and done with. So they brought Ernest like his clothes or whatever. He got dressed, he put everything on, and they got me ready. The anesthesiologist came in super quick and he gave me anesthesia. Like, everything was super quick. And then like in maybe like 10 minutes they were already pulling me out of the room into the surgery room. Ernest was outside, of course. I went in first, and in like 10 minutes they were already cutting me open, and I had the worst shakes ever. Like, I feel like my muscles were tired of how bad I was shaking. And then in another 10 minutes I felt everything, like not as in pain, but I felt all the pressure and tugging and pulling Sophia out. Like, I felt everything, which to me it was amazing. Like, even though I didn't get to push her out, like, you know, I felt them taking her out, and like that was seriously like beautiful to me. And then out of nowhere, maybe like 10 minutes after that, we just hear her cry, and Ernest was like, I can hear Ernest in the back, like he started crying, and it was just like, it was such a beautiful moment. Like, I really just want to experience that moment every single day of my life. Like, even though she's here and all that stuff, like every single day is a blessing and every single day is beautiful to me, but that day, like, there's no day like that day. And once, like, I felt like I was in a dream, and it was in the middle of the night. Like, she was born at 2:34 in the morning, so everyone there wasn't a lot of nurses. It wasn't chaotic like during the day, you know. Everything was just more calm and peaceful. So then they fix me up or whatever. I can hear Sophia in the background crying. They asked me, do you want her wrapped up or do you want to do skin to skin? And I was like, I want to do skin to skin, which was the best decision I made, because when they brought her over to me, she was so warm, and she was like sticky from me, you know, from the vernix stuff that was on her, everything. She was so warm. And the moment she came, they put her on me, it was like constant like relief. Like, all my pain went away, everything went away, like everything that I had gone through went away. Like it was just this instant. And then they took us to the recovery room, where Ernest was rocking her. They had her wrapped up in like a burrito, and Ernest was holding her and rocking her, and just like that image, and like that image in my head, it's so beautiful. I just looked at him and I seriously wanted to cry. And then after that, I literally puked green stuff. Like, where do I get this green stuff from? And they're like, this is from all the, you know, all the medicine that they've given you. It's totally normal. So I puked for a little bit, and then they brought her over to me. Ernest actually brought her over to me, and I unwrapped her and I did skin to skin with her, and she latched on super quick. It was beautiful. She latched on automatically. And after that, she latched on all the time till this day. So she was a really smart baby, and she was really hungry. But yeah, and then after that, maybe like around 4ish, my mom actually had to go back home, which was 2 hours away, around 5 in the morning. So I asked my nurse, I'm like, do you think it's possible that you can take us out of the recovery room into the postpartum room a little bit quicker, so that my mom can see her and spend some time with her before she has to go back home? So around 4 in the morning, around there, they took me back into the postpartum room till I did not sleep. I did not sleep that morning. I couldn't sleep. I wanted to hold her, and it was the only thing about the C-section was that you can't get up, and you can't get up and like hold her and do all these things that you want to do with her, because it's very painful down there, like very, very painful the first few hours. A lot of people don't walk the first day, and I was up and walking, which is what they wanted me to do, and I'm glad that I did. I was up and walking, and but whenever I did want to hold her, everybody understood. Like, I told Ernest, can you please give her to me? Can you grab her for me? Can you give her to me? Like my nurses, like I would tell my nurses, like, can you grab her for me? Because I was just laying down on the bed, like I needed to chill, like I needed to rest. I was in a lot of pain, and they would give me medicine and all that stuff, but they gave me oxycodone, which is a very, 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 very strong medicine, and a lot of the times I had to get in a comfortable position with her breastfeeding, because I would just fall asleep, which was, you know, I tried not to do as much, but she was safe. She was, you know, on me in a good position where nothing was going to happen to her. She was pretty much a tiny baby. So, but yeah, and then like she was born Friday, and then Sunday they were already giving us the, you know, you can go. My doctor came in, he checked my incision. Everything was good. He did not want me to shower for 3 days, which I followed directions, and I did not shower for 3 days. And now my incision, thank God, has cured wonderfully. It did not open. I tried to not do any weights at all. Ernest, the first week he stayed here, and he helped me so much with the baby. He put laundry away, he vacuumed, he helped me so much. And then my mom came over, and she helped me too with cooking and all that stuff. But yeah, it was a wonderful experience. After everything that I went through, it was seriously beautiful, and I will just never forget that day. And I'm so glad that I was able to capture all these videos, like the bringing home baby, the labor and delivery vlog. Like, I'm so glad that I was able to get all that stuff, because I will always want to look back at them, and you guys can too. But that is about it. I hope that this explains a little bit to you guys. Just remember that coming from me, your body will know when it's time to give up, and don't feel bad when you want to give up. Like, I didn't want to push anymore. I was just in so much pain. I had gone through so much already. Don't feel bad because you want to go through another route. because I went through a C-section and I wanted it. Don't feel bad if you decide to go that way. At the end of the day, all you have to worry about is just a healthy baby and a healthy you. Most importantly, a healthy baby. And make sure that she is safe, because it got to one point where Sophia was not going to come out. Like, no matter how much I pushed, she wasn't going to come out. It was a decision that I made to have a C-section, but it was also a medical decision that the doctor had to make, because her umbilical cord was wrapped around her ears here, and she was not going to come out. Because her heart rate was dropping. So it got to the point where it was something serious. But don't back off. Just go with what you feel is best. And let me tell you, if you're scared of a C-section, if you're just scared of birth, period, everything comes naturally. I was scared of birth. I was scared. I was nervous. Everything comes naturally. It gets to the point where you want to meet that baby so much that you don't care. You don't care through how much pain you go through. And that's exactly what happened to me. I went through so much pain, and I'm so thankful for it. Like, now I just have my baby girl here. I'm glad I was induced at 39 weeks. I'm glad that they took the pain away. I'm glad for so many things. But that is about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, make sure that you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.